Welcome back, you must be tired. I have dinner ready for you. As I moved toward the dining table, I saw that my favorite dishes were arranged on it. You like this one, right? Come on, let's eat. Hearing this, you probably think he is a good husband, but in reality, until yesterday, he had not done any household chores and treated me like a maid, scolding me all the time. What's this? Oh, it's nothing. It's just a thank you for always taking care of me. Come on, hurry up and let's eat, he said with a smile, urging me on. He didn't know that I already knew the real reason he was being so kind to me. My name is Carol, and I'm 35 years old. We have been married for 3 years, and this is the 10th year after my husband and I graduated from university. We met again at the reunion, and a month later we got married. I was in a rush to get married partly because of my age, and I accepted his early proposal without much thought. I knew it was moving fast, but honestly I couldn't help it. I fell for him when I saw him at the reunion. He had become a handsome man, and he was considerate toward others. He seemed to shine the most among the members of the reunion. We started dating. At 1 month into our relationship, he said, I know it's early, but let's get married. I was honestly surprised and worried, but what gave me the push I needed was when he said, it's okay if you work too. My husband's name is James, and he's turning 36 because he repeated a year in college. Since we both worked, he took out the garbage and did laundry on weekends. He always willingly helped with household chores, which made me happy. But that husband is no longer here now. Our relationship became awkward when his job switched to working from home. James himself doesn't seem to be happy about working from home and always expressed dissatisfaction with the company as a proud husband. He didn't like seeing me leaving the house for work. In the first place, there were times when he looked down on me and saw himself as superior. He was a year older than me and worked for a top-tier company, which naturally led him to have such an attitude. Yet James himself couldn't have felt good about me going to work while he was working from home. One day when I returned home, I called out, I'm home, but there was no answer from James. Moreover, the kitchen and living room were a mess. What the heck, I shouted in my heart as I somehow managed to clean up. I wanted to clean more, but I didn't have the energy left. I was exhausted just from tidying up. After that, I cooked and finally put the food on the table. If dinner is ready, let me know sooner. Well, it's not like I'm expecting much from your cooking, though, James said as he emerged from his room wearing the same clothes he wore to bed. I was just about to let you know, I said in a hurry as I called out to James. Stop making excuses and take care of the house like you're supposed to. You didn't leave me any food in the fridge today. Just because you work outside doesn't mean you can slacking off, you know. What? But you said you were going to eat out today. I changed my mind. What kept me busy? How am I supposed to know that? I think it's a wife's job to prepare everything, so that is okay no matter what happens. Since I, as a husband, I'm at home, I need to do the household chores like you're supposed to. I'm already doing them. You haven't been helping lately. What are you talking about? Just because I'm working from home doesn't mean I'm not busy. James continued to find fault with me. By the time he had been working from home for 6 months, he didn't even get up for breakfast anymore. As I was leaving for work, he would say, have a great day, ma am, and then he would make sarcastic comments as he went to the bathroom. When I returned home, he greeted me with welcome home, ma am, in a sarcastic tone. It was then that things got really bad. His mood would suddenly change and he would say things like, I couldn't work today because of you. You didn't wash my mug from yesterday. If you had washed it, my documents wouldn't have gotten dirty from the coffee. Well, you could have washed it yourself. You're neglecting your household duties. I'm trying my best while I work. Yeah, whatever. Just continue to believe you're trying. You're just a low-class woman. I was boiling with anger at his verbal abuse that night. From then on, our conversations became minimal and awkward. However, one day when I returned home, I was surprised to find that the living room was spotless, unlike before. I couldn't believe my ears after what happened next. Welcome back, you must be tired. As I moved toward the dining table, I saw that my favorite dishes were arranged on it. What is all this? You like it, right? Come on, let's eat. This tastes just the way I like. How did you know? Oh, remember when we talked about different flavors when you cooked for me before we got married? In the spice rack in the kitchen, there were also seasonings that I used to prefer before we got married, and I felt a momentary discomfort in my husband's voice, but I thought it might be because he was just shy. When he cooked curry rice, I was surprised that my husband, who preferred pork, used beef and even bay leaves to get rid of the odor. The cleaning was also more thorough, and the house was so clean that it was unrecognizable. Was he always capable? I thought to myself and felt uneasy. Things continued like this for a month, so I told him I would cook that night and left for work. When I returned, I cooked us dinner. I decided to tell him my feelings while having dinner. Thank you for always helping me. Where did you learn to cook and clean like that? I asked him while expressing gratitude. It's great that you can learn from online videos when you search for it. Even cooking? Yeah, that's right. I do it while watching how you're skillful. Well, there's nothing I can't do, my husband said. But as far as I know that this is exquisite, just watching YouTube, I was feeling a sense of distrust. Even so, I felt relieved to have a kind husband and started talking to him. Hey, do you want to start thinking about having children soon? Oh, I'm feeling a bit sick today. Is it okay if we don't try tonight? My husband froze at my words and changed the subject. I wanted to continue talking about our fertility journey, but with work getting busier, we never got the chance. One day, my junior colleague Paige invited me to lunch. She's 2 years younger than me and has a straightforward personality. She's capable of her job, so everyone relies on her, including me. While having lunch, I talked about my husband's recent behavior. Paige immediately responded, "That's strange. They say there is always a reason behind someone's actions. What do you mean?" When a husband or boyfriend suddenly becomes more affectionate or attentive, it's often to hide an affair. But he works from home, so there's no chance for him to meet someone. No, it's the other way around. You're not home, so you should be careful. Her words made me remember my husband's cooking, and I must have looked concerned because she said, "If you're worried, you should use a hidden camera." I said I didn't think it was necessary, but she was proactive. I wondered why she was going to such lengths, but I appreciated her concern. Paige efficiently talked to the salesperson at an electronics store and purchased a camera that even I could handle. She then helped me set up the camera in my husband's room, living room, kitchen, and even the bedroom, timed for when my husband would go shopping. The hidden camera was shared with my PC and smartphone so that I could see in real time. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about my husband and the hidden camera, so unable to wait, I nervously opened my smartphone during my lunch break. My heart nearly stopped when I saw the person who appeared on the screen. What? Paige? Why is she in the footage? I quickly closed the screen. My hands were shaking and my heart was racing. I couldn't focus on work in the afternoon, so I waited for the end of the workday and went to the nearby cafe to calm down with some coffee before playing back the hidden camera footage. James prepared his computer and was skilled in his work during the start of the web conference. However, when the meeting ended and the conference screen closed, he reached for his smartphone and began doing something on it. Then he moved to the living room, and shortly after, the doorbell rang. He seemed to have gone to the front door and disappeared from the living room. As soon as he reappeared, my body leaned forward to try to catch a glimpse of the woman next to him. It was Paige. I was shocked to the point where my heart almost jumped out of my chest. She had always listened to me talk about my husband and had taken my side, and she had even suggested the hidden camera. I was in a state of panic beyond words. Furthermore, I saw an unbelievable scene of the two of them captured on the hidden camera in the bedroom. I think I was beyond panic and in the state of shock. "Are you okay, Ma? Am?" The voice of the waiter brought me back to my senses. I switched my phone to call Paige and dialed her number. Before I questioned my husband, I wanted to hear Paige's story. "You finally watched it. I'm glad," Paige said as she asked the waiter to use the private room. As soon as we entered, I asked her, "What's going on, Paige? Did you intentionally set this up? There is a reason for this anyway. Please take this video to the law firm." I didn't understand. "Can you explain it to me?" Then she told me about her and my husband's history from the beginning of our story. My head began to spin. Before my husband and I started dating, she was dating him. She turned pale when she found out that the groom of the wedding I invited her to was James, the man she was dating. Although she cut off contact with him after our wedding and ignored him, my husband apparently contacted her and said, "I will break up with that woman soon, so wait for me." She was curious about his true intentions, so she went to ask him. Since then, he had been telling her about his complaints about me during meals ever since. I had already decided that I wouldn't have a relationship beyond meals, but his bad-mouthing and attitude toward you were too much, so I came up with a plan for this hidden camera. But if that's the case, you became his affair partner. Yes, I'm aware of that. She apologized to me and continued the story. She had planned our divorce at the risk of being claimed for compensation. She deliberately approached my husband, went in and out of our house, and did unnatural cleaning and tidying up while preparing homemade dishes to make me suspect him of having an affair. She thought that the scene would be advantageous evidence in the divorce negotiations and came up with the idea of the hidden camera. "Why did you go that far? You're also a victim of my husband," I said, emphasizing my tone. Tears welled up in her eyes as she said, "Please watch the kitchen video." Carol, I learned more shocking facts from the kitchen video in her story. In the video, my husband is adding something to the food every time after Paige left. According to Paige, James apparently said to her, "My wife is infertile, so eventually I will divorce her because of it." Furthermore, he lets sleep in high spirits. "I'm researching herbs to make her infertile." Paige apologized, saying, "I was asked to do it, but I was the one making the Arabic spicy food. You are not to blame. It's a terrible husband who's at fault. I'm sorry. Please go to the lawyer's office right away." You're also a victim. It must have been tough for you too. I won't let this evidence you let me help by sacrificing yourself go to waste. Before we knew it, we were holding hands and crying. We put a smartphone with the video in the bag and left the shop. Although I returned home later than usual, James started preparing dinner with kind words. I'm sorry, I don't have much of an appetite today, so I'm going to have something light. Wouldn't you eat just this? He offered a small dish with pepper in it. But no matter how much he tried to make me eat it, I didn't feel like eating after just hearing about what he does to the food. James looked troubled, but went to clean up, and I didn't bother to tell him about the video. When he fell asleep, I packed my bags and checked the video, and other evidence were put away in them. The stuff he put in the food was captured in the video, so I also grabbed that and put it in my bag for evidence. The next morning at breakfast, I said, I'm going on a business trip from today, so I won't be able to come back for a while. How long will you be gone? Until the result comes out, I guess. Is it that big of a job? I don't know what will happen, so I will contact you when the results come out. I then told him that I was leaving and went straight to the lawyer's office. After watching the video, I presented the lawyer, explained confidently, this video is sufficient evidence. The divorce will progress in your favor. The divorce was finalized early, as the lawyer predicted. The matter of James trying to make me infertile was treated as an intentional act, so the lawyer contacted the police and James was arrested. The result came out, so I'm letting you know what's going on. I heard from Paige that you are suing against me. I'm sorry, I apologize. Please help me. What are you talking about? You will pay for your actions. I went to visit him at the prison. James just clung to the board in the middle, crying. What settlement? You must serve your sentence. Neither Paige nor I will forgive you. You are such a despicable loser. My anger exploded, and I couldn't help but scream the words that my husband once said to me. Later on, Paige admitted to having an affair with my husband and offered to pay me compensation. However, she was also the reason why things ended the way they did. I consulted with a lawyer and she agreed to pay half the compensation amount after I deducted the gratitude for her. My ex-husband lost his job while serving his sentence, and after his release, he struggled to find work. Paying the compensation was a huge financial burden, and it was his own doing. I was worried about infertility, but fortunately I was not infertile and the herb had not affected me. I was curious about Paige, so I contacted her. After receiving the results, you were worried about me, but don't worry, I'm not infertile. That's great. I'm really relieved. Let's continue to be conversation partners. Thank you. Yes, if you don't mind, let's learn to choose men more wisely from now on. Yes, let's do that. We both laughed and hung up. I remember the beginning of our relationship and chuckled to myself. At the time, he looked good, and he was good at treating women. I fell for it, and I let him lead me on. But now I have to look for a sincere man, I said to myself, feeling a sense of realization. I sat on the front steps of my house, enchanted. Don't rush, don't rush, don't rush, don't rush. I'm here now, having learned that being with someone can change your life.